everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here, all of you beautiful, amazing, magnificent beings. It's so great to see you all. And I want to thank you from the depth of my heart for signing in and logging in and spending some time today, and for the hearts that are coming up. It's great to see you. So, hello, Reba from Tampa Bay. Where's everyone else from? Vicky, hello. Therese, of course. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from as we get underway. So we are here from California. Lovely. Awesome. So we are here today to chat about awakening your inner magic and the magic within you, because if you are here, you are a truly magnificent being and you know it. And you know that you're brilliant and magnificent, even if you may not be completely certain of it, right? Even if you might have some doubts or uncertainties, you know from the depth of the core of your being that you are magnificent and brilliant, and you're here to bring that through in this world, and that you have something amazing and wonderful to offer into the world, and you really want to bring that through. You want to level up your impact. You're here for a reason. So, and you know that your life matters and you have purpose. So I want to thank you so much for being here and for sharing this time. And we're going to talk today about awakening more of your inner magic. And we're going to cover a lot today, so stay with me. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we're going to definitely do a lot of Q&A, so I will have time to work with you directly. Stay online for that. Stay on the call. And I just want to say hi to all of you. Thank you again for being here. Paul from Canada, Therese from Czech Republic, Vicky from California. You guys, thank you so much. Please say hello in the chat. Say hello. And please share in the chat. So what I want to start with about magic and your inner magic is, I want, if you would be willing to please share, what do you think magic means? What is your take, your perspective on what that means? And when you share, please make sure you write hosts and panelists in the webinar chat, so we can all see, and so we can all know that, share with you and hear from you. What does it mean to you? I would love to hear from you. If you would type, what does that mean, your inner magic, or what does magic mean to you? Does anyone want to share in the chat, so I can get a sense of where you're at and what your perspective is on that? Everyone, oh yeah, type in everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Everyone, you're right. And you know what? I had it on hosts and panelists. So you didn't even see my messages that I typed. Okay, thank you for that. That correction, right? Everyone. So if you make sure you have it say everyone, and you type in, what does your magic mean to you? What does it mean to you to use magic? And we can share about that. Magic is to do something out of the ordinary. Thanks, Paul. Love that. What else? What do other people think that it means to be in your inner magic, or to utilize magic? Or what does magic mean to you? I would love to hear. Magic is the beauty that triggers the body and brings peace to the heart. Love that, Vicky. And Reba says something that can't be explained in 3D reasoning. I totally love that. Yes. So, and I would love to hear from anyone else. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to use magic? A lot of times, I think our society talks about magic, and we tend to believe that magic is something that's like woo-woo, or maybe it's dark, or maybe it's like something we might even be secretly like associate with witches, or I don't know what people think. Blake said heart-centered living, totally. And Claire said synchronicities. Love that. I love that, Claire. That is definitely part of how I would define magic. Working with the law, the universal law of synchronicity. That is a universal law. And synchronicity is an organizing principle in our reality. It is why this reality is part of what upholds the physical fabric of our reality. Divine synchronicity. It's a law, universal law. So love that. Thank you, Claire. All right. Well, before we get underway with what our magic is in this conversation, I just want to for those of you who don't know me, since this is a gifted community call, there are lots of times people who come on and they don't necessarily know me. I want to just introduce myself briefly. My name is Lorianne Spagna. I have been running a professional online business for about 20 years now, almost 20 years, successfully running a successful, spiritually based, energetic based, consciousness based online business. And I've been doing it from heart centered service, union with the divine, and following my own divine guidance, my alignment with source, helping thousands and thousands of people and animals all around the world to truly discover their magic, to develop and cultivate their relationship with the divine, to unify with their own higher self, their non-physical team, to up level into what we call the new paradigm, new way of being and operating, and to bring out and to reveal our true magnificence, our brilliance. So I've been working with people and animals like this professionally now for over 20 years. I've been out there in the world. I'm the author of 5 best-selling books, which you can find on Amazon, one of which is called Awakening Your Psychic Abilities, one of which is learning your abilities as an animal communicator, learn animal communication and telepathy with any animal, one of which is Manifest Like a Master. I've been teaching manifestation for many, many years, more than I can count. And there are lots of other books there as well. You can find superfoods for you and your pets and animals in the afterlife. And the list is growing because I'm working on some more books now. I've been doing this work to help people like you awaken the magic within. And really, that's what we're here. But ultimately, why we're here is because we know we have something magnificent to offer. We have something magnificent to offer in the world. And whether the world is our community, our family, our extended community, or whether it's on a global stage as another entrepreneur or solopreneur, we're here for a reason. We have mission and purpose, and that mission is heart-centered. We want to contribute in a powerful and positive way. So with that, I want to say thank you again for being here. So let's talk more about this magic and how you guys can awaken more of it within you. And Therese said, inner magic is using divine light. Absolutely. Love that. Patricia said, being the best we can be. Absolutely. Absolutely. When we show up as the best version of us, the best that we can be, our best selves, the magic starts coming through us because our best self, I love that, Patricia. It's so true. Our best selves are the aspects of us that are so unified with the inner divinity that is within us, with the divine that is the divine, right? And you can call the divine, you can relate to the divine as God or source or spirit or Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Allah or angels or archangels or love or consciousness, whatever or however you uniquely relate to the divine. That's fine. Your unique relationship with the divine is exclusively between you and your God, your source, your creator. And there's no other relationship with the divine that is exactly precisely yours. So your inner magic and the light that you are, the divine light, just like what Therese just said, it comes through you as you develop your relationship with your authentic relationship with the divine that is exclusive and unique for you, because we're all unique aspects and of that divine source. So love that, Therese. Thanks for sharing that. And Patty, being the best we can be, also saying exactly that, that as we become the best that we can be, the divine reveals more of itself and its light through us. So, and its magic comes through us, the magic of the infinite, of the divine. So I love that. I love all that. So, okay, so I want to share a little bit more about magic, and I love all your comments in there. Thank you so much for putting them in there. So what I think I've elaborated a little bit, but what I would say about magic is that magic is the divine embodying itself through us, as us, utilizing us, and where we are so unified with our source that it starts to work its magic through us in miraculous and, yes, synchronistic ways that are so astounding to us that we cannot even believe it. We're in our own awe. We're in our own almost shock from our personality selves because the divine is like wowing us. We are being wowed by its magnificence. And yes, the law of synchronicity, which Vicky, I think that was you, Vicky, earlier stated. Oh, sorry, that was Claire who stated that earlier, because universal laws and other aspects of this reality that we don't always fully understand start to organize and synchronize in alignment with our will to allow the divine and in orchestration with the divine, and magic really happens. Now, we're living our everyday lives, our everyday world. We're trying to pay bills. We're trying to get healthy. We're trying to make the impact we're here to make. We're trying to run our businesses. We're trying to feed our dogs and cats and take care of our children, right? So we're not always thinking about all those things, about how to make magic. But what if, and I just want you to drop into this for a few moments as you showed up because you want some kind of support, and we are definitely going to do questions, I promise you. And you can ask me anything. Any way I can be of support to you is my honor and privilege and pleasure. But I just want you to drop in for just a moment. If you could just take a few breaths and just ask yourself, whatever it is that you're working on right now, challenged by, developing. Maybe you can drop that in the chat too. Just one word or two words. What are you being challenged by? Or what are you working on? And whatever that is, just bring that to mind, and definitely please drop it in the chat. And as you bring that to mind and you just let yourself be aware, like, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm challenged by, this is what I want to develop or cultivate, whatever that is. And just start to imagine that if the divine, the infinite, the all that is, could begin to work in you and through you, as you, and start orchestrating and organizing with the laws of the universe, with the infinite that's beyond our personal identification. If that could happen for you, how might that make your life easier, better, more graceful, more peaceful, and more enjoyable? And yes, more productive. How might that really bring forward some magic into your life? Because your brand of magic, your magic, is what is going to serve, support, and assist you with whatever it is that you are struggling with, or challenged by, or challenged with at this time, whatever you're working on. So Paul said financial challenges. To buy a house, that's awesome. I mean, what's awesome is you're so clear. We don't want you to have the challenges, but that makes so much sense, Paul. And it's wonderful that you've linked it, right? Because you're aware you're wanting support and assistance and some magic and miracles to come through to support you in buying that house. RD said loneliness. Okay, we are going to address that. I love that you just shared that, RD. Thank you so much. Elena said anxiety. Ah, brilliant. Okay. This is part of the magic that we're going to get into. I promise you, this is really good stuff. And hello from Finland. And Vicky said, ridding of lifetimes of ancestral patterns and trauma from the body. Yes. And because trauma, and I love, Vicky, that you're so aware of that, because trauma, most humans really don't understand how trauma is controlling our lives. We just don't understand. Trauma is what's behind physical health issues. Trauma is what's behind relationship challenges and upsets. Trauma is what is behind success in career, in business. If someone's dealing with any form of lack of success, trauma is what is behind all forms of lack and limitation, including challenges with money and finances. So Brilliant. Awesome. And yes, ancestral patterns are linked always, almost always, our traumas are linked. So we don't identify traumas as like why we're triggered or upset in a relationship or why we're challenged by a relationship or why we don't know if we can have the money that we need to take care of something or why we have a health issue. But that's all trauma, all of it. We don't even link that typically to the fact that maybe our animals are having health issues or that the things we're seeing in the world, the upset that we're seeing in the world is linked to a trauma. We don't make that connection typically, but it almost always it is. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you for that. And then Natalie said deepening inner union. Awesome. Then you're in the right place. We're going to work on that. And sorry if I can't read them all, but doing my best to. Patty's talking about her business. Awesome. Blake healing the body. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about more about this magic. But as you're getting into the awareness that whatever you're working on or challenged by, there's magic within you that will help you to alleviate it or to literally be free from it if it's a challenge or if it's something you're working on like in excitement, right? Like Patty said, like building her business. From that perspective, not only is the magic within you can alleviate any blocks that might be limiting you, but it will also support and assist you in really growing and expanding your business and your offerings and whatever it is that you are uniquely meant to bring forward through your business or your service in any way. So beautiful. Okay, so now we are getting understanding what and how magic is, what and how it can work, right? Because it's the union. Real magic is where you are working with something that is greater than and or beyond your personal identification, even though your personal identification, all of ours, is everyday stuff, writing our books, building our business, getting our posts out there, healing our health issues, making sure our bodies are functioning in their ideal and optimal ways, feeling good about ourselves, feeling happy and fulfilled. This is important. How important would you guys say that is on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being the most. How important is it to you to feel happy and fulfilled in life, right? Yeah, Vicky says 6, Patty says 5. Awesome. Me too. Like I'd put that as a 6 as well. 5 plus, Paul said 5. Because the truth is the magic cannot come through us. It cannot. If we are in some form of extreme grief, pain, suffering, if we are stressed out, if we are overwhelmed, if we are in some form of trauma or reactivity, if we're plugged into the drama in the world stage. I call it the 3-ring circus. I call the world stage right now the 3-ring circus. I hope you will begin to see it that way. It is a circus designed to keep people in a state of trauma, fear, anxiety, worry. So it's a 3-ring circus to distract you and to keep you from the magic within. So one of the first things I'll offer you here is anywhere there's a circus out there, you might want to consider how you can unplug from the circus and literally say that the circus acts that are going on are designed to keep you away from your inner magic. Because if you're distracted, if you're in fear or anxiety or worry, any form of trauma, upset, if you're struggling, the 3-ring circus will distract you, will make it worse. So that magic can't come through us if we're in any form of what we call the lower frequencies, right? Worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, frustration, struggle, anything in those, overworking, slave drive, victim, victimizer, if we're feeling like a victim of our circumstances, a victim that someone did something terrible to us or someone did something wrong to us, or that something is very wrong, like we're aware there are things that are wrong. I'm not talking about being aware. You have to be aware, but I'm talking about if we're in the energy of it. So, okay, so let's take this to the next step, because if we understand that the magic that is within us cannot come through if we're in that, what we call density, that's density, struggle, fear, anxiety, worry, etc., financial burdens, how are we going to pay our next bill, how are we going to pay our employees, etc., how are we going to put food on the table, how are we going to take care of our animals, that kind of thing will keep the magic away. Those are the blocks and the traumas and the upsets. That's the energy that keeps us stuck, blocked, and limited, right? And doesn't allow the magic to flow through us. So with that, let's talk about some of this, because magic, real magic, beyond what we've already said, is the recognition. Now, you're going to want to write this down. Everything is energy. You may already know that. But when you go back to some of the comments, you guys, which I love, Raina put in confusion about which direction to take. Confusion is energy. And I'll just also add here, because I love confusion, because one of the things I am more and more teaching in my classes is what I call divine certainty. Confusion comes from, yes, an inability to make decisions, which I could do a whole class on that. But confusion also comes from not understanding how to explore the potential results of outcomes. And the third reason confusion comes is because somebody does not understand their role as a creator being, their role in God's plan of creation, their role as a creator in this physical world. So as you start to learn that and get how to do that, how to cultivate that, confusion transforms into divine certainty. I would say that for the most part, I'm living in a state almost always of divine certainty. Imagine what that would feel like. Like, how good would that feel? How amazing could that be? Because magic is always flowing through me, because I'm always using my magic. Even in the moments where I have uncertainty, I have support from my own team in the non-physical, and support as in a mentorship program where I can bounce it off of others. One of the best solutions for confusion is to have support around you, which is part of why I'm here today, to support you. So I love that, but confusion is energy. And one of the things that was stated earlier from what I loved from Elena, when she said anxiety is energy. Financial challenges, energy. Financial prosperity, financial confidence, financial courage, all energy. Financial challenges, financial struggle, way down here, struggle, right? So in order to, is this making sense? Is this landing? Loneliness, loved that from RD. Why I say loneliness, I don't love that you're lonely. I love that you're aware that you feel that way. And I can feel that. I feel you in my heart center. I can feel the sadness, but it's like the connection of realizing you don't have to be lonely. I want to share with you about this. Loneliness is energy. We think it's because of our circumstances that we're lonely. We think that. I promise you, it is energy. Now I'm going to tell you a story, because loneliness really hits home for me. I have, and I don't have time to go into all my story around this. I wish I did, but because it's such a good story. But I spent most of this lifetime alone. I was the black sheep of my family. I was definitely excluded from the inner, like there was a lot of divide and conquer mentality in my family, where there was like gang ups, us against them. There was always infighting growing up. So my way was to go and be the black sheep and go off and look for peace and harmony, because I couldn't find it, and look for safety And so I lived alone. I felt very much of my life very afraid of people. I had to heal and resolve that within myself. I wasn't even aware of it until I didn't even really realize that until 4 years ago when my dog Kiko transitioned. Some people from my inner sacred visionary mentorship circle would know this. They've heard me say this story. But in any case, the way I navigated that was I would create retreats and I would have retreats. I've done retreats to Bimini, the Bahamas. We've swam with dolphins. I've done retreats to Sedona, Mount Shasta, Arkansas, New York, Florida. I love doing retreats. In fact, I would love to tell you about a retreat that I'm hosting coming up called Sacred Illumination Retreat. I'll make sure I address that, but where you can join me in person for a live retreat. And I also have an online, a retreat coming up. It's not really a retreat, it's a cruise that we'll be doing, the Galactic Origins Cruise. I love group gatherings. I'll tell you a little bit about that too. But in any case, that's how I would handle it. The loneliness. I would create retreats. I would bring together amazing high vibe people. We would create incredible camaraderie, community connection. Those people are still in my community. We still interact. They still come to my events. I mean, I know them all. I know, love, and trust them. And I feel that they feel that way about me. And they come to my events over and over again. So, but when I would be away from them, and I working on my own, I loved my work. I loved my own company. It wasn't that I didn't love my own company, but I lived with a looming kind of energy of this fear of loneliness and this sense of loneliness. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago when I moved away from Sarasota, where I was having so much fun with so many amazing people, when I was coming back to the East Coast of Florida, and I realized I don't have community over there. I don't have community. I hope I don't have to deal with that loneliness again. And that's when I realized, oh my God, I have to do a healing for myself on this. I have to heal the loneliness, the fear of the loneliness. It's not even real loneliness. And when I went to go do that healing on myself, that's when I realized loneliness is energy. And when the energy is removed from your field, when I say your field, what do I mean by your field, you guys? What do I mean by your field? Your energy field. What is your field? And again, please know loneliness, same thing, anxiety, anything you have been experiencing, it's all energy. This is why I said you might want to write that down, because I know you know this, but we don't usually think of loneliness as energy. We don't usually think of anxiety as energy. We don't usually think of frustration as energy. We don't think of struggle as energy. We don't think of financial challenges as energy. We don't think of physical health issues, whether it's a blood issue or an energy like iron in the blood or any form of cancer or whatever it is. We don't think of that as energy. It's energy. So whatever the energy is, right? So, okay, so Vicky said 5 subtle and gross bodies. Okay, that's a linear perspective. I'm not familiar with that terminology, so I'm not making it wrong at all. Somewhere you've been taught that. What I would say, and thank you, Vicky, for putting that in, is that your energy field, all of ours, is the size of at least a 5-story building. 5 to 7 stories. We don't think of that, do we? We don't know that in our reality, but it really is true. You are more than your physical body. You are more than the emotional body of all the emotions you feel. So if the emotion you feel is maybe you feel defeated, maybe you feel discouraged, maybe the emotion is frustration, or maybe the emotion is loneliness or grief, or maybe the emotion is worthlessness or hopelessness, right? Those are emotion, right? That's the emotional body. Then you have your mental body, right? Your mental body. The mental body is all the things you think and believe, which aren't necessarily true. They're not. You might think that you're worthless, but you're not. You might think that it's hopeless, but it's not. You might think that you're stuck with some form of dis-ease. You might think that you've lived in poverty your whole life, so you're destined to it for your whole life. You might think that the only solution to XYZ is to go to the doctor or get a jab or get a this or get a that, but it's not, because there's always more beyond the mental and emotional bodies, right? So I don't have time to go into all the layers and levels, but you have light body, you have auric body, you have so many levels and layers that you are the size of a 5 to 7 foot story building, likely. Okay, so your energy field, then, the energy that you feel, whether your energy is loneliness, anxiety, whether it's financial frustration or challenge, whether it's some form of struggle. Tell me some of the other things you guys are working on. Whatever it is, that energy can be removed from your field. And the reason that what we're doing these days in our society typically is that whether it's indecision or uncertainty, someone I remember mentioned that, Raina, I think it was, confusion, all of its energy. And even the energy of needing protection. Why do we need protection? Why do we need protection? I go to a prayer circle every week, and they always talk about, they're not all of them. I just like to go to the prayer circle and be in the energy where I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I get to just show up and be there, because we really do. It's lovely prayer and the energy of the energy in the group. And then I bring energy in, of course, but I get to just enjoy. But a lot of times the people in the group are asking for protection. Vicky said, because our field isn't strong enough to hold out the unhelpful energies. Yes, I would totally agree. We need protection because the field isn't strong enough. Now, once your field gets so strong and you learn right and appropriate practices to build your container, your energy field, to strengthen your field, and to purify your field of the energies that aren't serving you, whatever they are, loneliness, doubt, frustration, etc., your field gets stronger. And then you move beyond needing any form of protection. And when you start moving through your life, navigating through your life without fear. Therese said, because of fear. Yes, that's exactly right, Therese. You need protection because of fear. That's 100% right. Like, that's absolutely true. You need protection because of fear, because everything in the fear-based reality can affect you. But when your container gets so pure, so full of light, when I say your container, I mean your energy field, your field is so pure, so full of light and consciousness, so strong and stable, then you really don't need protection. Not really. You still set up certain protocols, right? I do this with my Sacred Visionary Mentorship. But this is important because you almost have to, let me just ask about this. It's more than almost. You must, this is coming through me for you. You must. Beloveds, you must. If you choose to live the life that you truly are desiring, to make the impact you truly are. Well, let me go a little deeper here. So this is the collective coming through. If you're not familiar with the collective, this is my team in the higher realms, so-called non-physical. To me, they're very real. They're non-physical, but they're very real. Beloveds, you must, if you are willing, take a moment right now and just with a breath, come into your own truth and admit to yourself the areas of your life where fear has played a dominant role. This is not to say you are meant to remain here, far from that. Nothing could be more untrue. You are not meant to remain in a state of allowing fear, in any various form of fear, to control you. Nothing could be further from the truth. However, you cannot free yourself from fear in all of its various shades and colors, energetics, until you first acknowledge that fear has controlled you and influenced you. And when you finally are willing to recognize and acknowledge the role that fear has played in any area of your life, this is the first step of becoming free from it. We could continue, but we will pause, they're saying, because there's always more, is what they say. So, because a lot of people, especially in the love and light movement, don't always want to admit that fear is affecting them or controlling them. But you have to decide for yourself. Right now, you get to decide, are you willing? Are you ready? Are you really willing to decide? Are you willing to choose to be at least willing to no longer allow fear? First, to admit that fear has influenced you. It has. There's no way that it hasn't, living in this reality. No way. And then through admitting that, then becomes the willingness to finally to say that you're willing to break free from it. And even that's still a first step. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't to some degree already done some kind of fear-free work, right? Freeing yourself from fear. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't, right? Is this landing for you guys? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat if this is making sense for you? Because this is the way we free ourselves. And this is the way magic starts to come through. Because all those things that are fear, struggle with money, anxiety, indecision, uncertainty, lack of clarity, not knowing how or when to make a decision, loneliness, wondering what to do next, even looking at the three-ring circus, whatever it is, it's like, I don't want to pay attention to what's in here. Right? Needing protection. So yeah, I'm so glad that this is making sense to you. So then our job becomes, as beings who want to truly elevate, and how many of you, because somebody put it in before, I think it was Patty, really truly want to be the best version of yourself? It was Patty. How many of you really truly? Because a lot of people say it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they really want it. Like, give me a yes if it's you. Reba says yes. Vicky said yes. Love that. Claire said, of course. Lily says yes. Yes, because Paul said yes, because in order for us to be the best versions of ourselves, that means we have to transcend fear. Now, let me give you some other examples about this. And then I do want to go to your questions. So let's say your child is struggling. Your child's struggling with a health issue, or your animal. An animal could be your child. For a lot of us, our animals are our children, struggling with a health issue or some kind of disorder, or maybe your physical body is, right? Maybe you are. And even if it's not a physical disorder, maybe it's an emotional disorder. Maybe there's a lot of people right now are very emotionally dysregulated, right? One of the things that I'm teaching in the Sacred Visionary Mentorship is how to bring in I call it the progressed. What I teach is what I call the maturation of the emotional body, maturing the emotional body. But because there's so much energetic interference, we are dysregulated, right? So whatever it is you, your child, your animal might be struggling with this is some form of fear. And in our world, our perspective is we need to go to an external authority, the doctor, a lawyer, some kind of official. We need to believe what we don't even always realize. I have a dear friend who is a lawyer. She is brilliant. She's one of my besties. I love her so much. And the other day we were having a conversation about healthcare and the healthcare system and about legal paperworks and legal requirements. And she is so much more versed on me than those things. And I say, well, I really just don't even plug into that. I just really just follow my guidance, and I don't know what all those things are. And she went to kind of like a default. Well, if you're not doing this, and if you're not, there are people like you have to do these things. I had to take a break and I said, really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? It's not for me to tell you. But what I am here to say is your source will reveal magic to you that is so far beyond the have to of the external three-ring circus and all of that craziness, right? So all that energy has to be resolved if you want to be in that space of what I call divine peace within, magic coming through you, unshakable certainty, clarity of where you're going and what you're doing and what your role is here. So we remove the energetic blocks that are limiting us or blocking us or keeping us stuck. And we allow for more of the light and the brilliance and the magnificence to come through, right? That is what allows us to bring forward the magic that we are, the light that we are, the divinity that is us, that is within us. It's within us. It is within us. And when I say within us, not just the body, but yes, the body. So right now, whatever stress you have, if the emotional, if we're dysregulated, if the nervous system is, an overwhelm, that's anxiety, right? Any form of dysregulation, that needs to be brought into alignment with the light of the divine, right? Okay, so I hope this makes sense, but it's up to us to choose it because free will does exist here. Free will exists. You as a person have free will choice. So when we say, do you really want to be your most benevolent best? Do you really want to be the best version of you? That means you're going to have to go within to resolve those energetic issues that we've been talking about, resolve them, which is that's how we clear that away. We remove it, expunge it from your field, which again, remember, your field is much more than a physical body. And as that's removed, just think about, you've heard this saying, you've heard this analogy. Think about a glass of water, and in the glass of water, there is ice. And let's just say that the ice is made of has some, it doesn't even matter. I don't need to complicate this message. Pick up the ice, take it out. Now you can put more pure water in. It's not that there was something wrong with the ice necessarily. If you make the ice cubes of Coca-Cola, yeah, you don't want that in your water because that's like toxic crap. So get that out, and then you can just put more water in to purify. That's how the divine works through us. That's a good analogy. It's not a perfect analogy, but it works. Does this make sense? All right. With that, I want to just give you one little practice. We're going to do a little practice together, and then I'm going to do your questions, okay? So let's do one little practice that will help you to connect with and even identify and support you in removing some of the so-called density blocks or fears, and to allow more light. It's a very simple practice, but I think it will help you. So I would like for you, if you are willing, and you have to engage with this, because I'm not going to be doing energy work on you, even though I'm an energy worker and a healer. I want you to get this practice. Right. Paul said ice cubes are fears. Yeah, that prevents you from getting the magic of the water. Right. I love that. Great example. So if you can just put in there one word, any one thing in the chat of what you would like energy, any form of energy, could be loneliness, could be anxiety, or anything else that you would like to help yourself to expunge, to free yourself from. Anything there. And we got some words from some of the people who put that in there. Doubt. Love that, Vicky. Okay, doubt. So, and again, doubt is a form of a lack of clarity, lack of certainty, right? What other ones do we have? Not worthy, unworthiness. Love that. And of course, it's not that I love that you feel unworthy. Please hear me. It's just energy. It is not the truth of who you are. You are absolutely worthy. You are worthy because you exist, because you are created to be in this world, to make a contribution. You would not exist because there is consciousness, source, creator, God, right? However we identify, even if we call it the quantum field, you would not exist if you did not matter. You are made of matter. You are worthy because you exist. Okay. Self-judgment, another awesome one, right? So self-judgment is just energy. And yes, it is the mindset. It is how you think about yourself. It is emotion, how you feel about yourself. It how you respond to yourself and talk to yourself. But all of that is energy. Okay, good. Loneliness, we said, not worthy. Anxiety, we talked about. Doubt, we talked about. Awesome. These are all great ones. Um, Feeling stuck, speaking up. Okay, so speaking up. Good. All right, now, so if speaking up is something, the first part you want, Patty, just for you, if speaking up is something you want to do more of, or it's not quite clear to me, or is there a fear of speaking up? I'm not sure for what you put there. So just make sure you're clear, because the first part of the exercise that we're going to do here is really about you being able to remove whatever feels that's blocking you. Um, Robin, the energy of feeling stuck is a great example. That is energy. And there's always more. We're just giving you a very simple practice for how you can move energy. Okay. Fear creates doubt that I feel. Right. So fear and doubt for you, Penny, is a great one you can work with. And please know that this practice is for you to be able to use. We're not necessarily working with all the levels and layers of your whole self. When I'm an energy worker doing it for you, I do that. But I want to give you a practice that will help you, that you can do. And so practice based on wherever your frequency is, your vibration, your consciousness, that practice will continue to help you. The practice we're about to do will continue to support you, but it might not necessarily get through all those levels and layers of your energy field. But this will be a helpful practice. So just know that, and you can use it. Okay, good. Not knowing the unlimited divine power within. Yes. Okay, so that's a lack of certainty and clarity, not knowing. The unlimited divine power is there, absolutely. It's about you making space for it, right? And then being around humans, I totally get that. Fear of humans, I had to really work through that. Impatience, Claire, great one. Okay, so we're going to take just a few breaths, and this is just a simple little practice. And when you take these breaths, if you could, I would like you to let your eyes close if it's safe and comfortable for you to do so, and just start to feel with your mind's awareness whatever you feel. And that whatever you feel, whether you like what you feel, what you don't like what you feel, it doesn't matter. Just it is what it is. It's just energy. It's just energy. You can like it. You can think it's good. You can not like it. You can think it's bad. It's just energy. So let's not attach to anything. Now, as your eyes are closed, you're letting yourself feel whatever you feel. But I want you to start breathing in the energy. In this moment, your brain doesn't need to know what it is. It's the energy that God, source, creator, the divine, the infinite, that infinite consciousness sees right and appropriate for your most benevolent best at this time. So you don't have to label it with your brain, just breathe in whatever that is. And good stuff. Oh, yeah, we are clearing energy already. So as you're breathing, you're just taking in long, slow, deep, relaxing breaths. And you're allowing your breath to just take in whatever energy without trying to label it. Don't interfere with God's work. Whatever energy is right for you. And as you're doing this, I would like you to please feel for the top of your head. Just feel your brain with your mind. If you can't feel it with your mind, use your hand and just touch your brain and then move away. Now just feel where you felt that. And now as you're breathing, take in all your breath into the brain, the breath that God is breathing through you. You're just letting God fill you up with whatever energy is good, right, and appropriate for your most benevolent best at this time. No need to identify it. And you're feeling for your brain. You're breathing into the brain. Now, from here, I want you to travel that breath to the back of the brain. Just feel and sense all the way to the back of the brain, like you feel that breath that God's breathing through you. You're breathing God's breath, God's energy. And now I want you to travel it down. Just feel it go all the way down the back of the brain, back of the neck. If you can't feel it, use your fingers. Gently just touch there to the back of the neck so you can feel it. Then take the fingers away and feel. Back of the neck. And now travel down. Feel the back of the spine, top of the spine. Just feel as you're breathing your pace. Down the spine, slowly. One vertebra at a time almost. And feel when you get to the midsection, back of the spine, but the midsection, middle of the back, really. You're just breathing slowly and comfortably. You relax and exhale when it feels okay. And then down to the buttocks area, down to the buttocks, to the base of the spine, just breathing. You're breathing in the energy that's relaxing to you. And now from the buttocks, I just want you to relax, like as if you're just relaxing your lower extremities. And now I want you to use your etheric hands. These are non-physical hands. Now listen, before we do this, you do not have to visualize this. Visualization is for babies. I'm sorry, I don't mean to trigger anyone. I'm teaching advanced stuff here. And even though this is a simple practice, you're getting an advanced lesson. So you don't have to visualize. Now, if you want to visualize, it's okay. It's not wrong or bad. But you're going to use your etheric hands just with your awareness that they're there. And you're going to begin to scoop up with these etheric hands any energy that is in your field related to the topic, the one thing that you want to clear. Very slowly. Just begin to scoop up like it's a bowl or a chalice. You don't have to visualize it. If you want to, it's okay, but you don't need to. Gently, slowly, as if you're just catching like a sifter any energy related to that one thing that's no longer serving you. And it's sifting up slowly through your whole energy field from the base, the buttocks, slowly rising up all around you. You're feeling likely lighter, and that's okay. Even if you feel light, if you feel too light, wiggle your toes on the ground. Slowly lift, rising up. Now, when you start to get up to the head, that's okay. Just energetically feel your head, wiggle your toes, and just lift it up like you're giving it all up to God, as high as your arms can go. Your etheric arms, non-physical. If at any point you feel too floaty, wiggle toes, move your buttocks. You're not leaving your body. You're just getting rid of energy that is no longer serving you. When you get that all the way up as high as it can go, you're just feeling, sensing, and allowing this. Wiggle the toes, Move the buttocks if you feel too light. Now take in the next breath. The next breath, when you're ready, is simply whatever God, Source, Creator wants to replace for you now. Breathe in long, slow, deep, relaxing breath as much as you can, and just allow it to come in. Now, when you do this, you're just allowing, you're letting the divine fill you up with whatever is right and appropriate for you and your most benevolent best. And as you're breathing, you're simply relaxing and allowing and trusting in that source. Trust. It's okay to trust this source. It is infinitely conscious and infinitely aware of you. It is infinitely present. It created you. Trust it. It loves you. It accepts you. It knows you wholly and completely. You matter to it, this source. I say it because we all have our unique relationship with it. Not for me to define that for you. Breathe that in and feel it go all the way back through the back of the brain. Once again, to the back of the neck, all the way down the spine and the spinal cord, all the way down to the buttocks. Now relax and let go and let it flow. Just let it flow. Wiggle the toes. Move the waist a little or the buttocks so you're anchored in your body, and give yourself a stretch. Open your eyes. Simple practice. Very simple practice. You can do this anytime with anything. Pick one thing and do it regularly, whenever it feels right for you. Because the energy of impatience or struggle or being stuck or fear or loneliness or anxiety, it's just energy. Just energy. Robin asked, how do you sense the etheric arms if not visualizing them? Ah, such a good question. Because do you understand why visualization is why I say it's for babies? It's my, it's because if you're visualizing something, it's you doing it. It's you. If you're allowing, it's God. You don't need to visualize. And if you're, I will answer your question more specifically because it was an awesome question. But if you are allowing it to be done and being aware, because you said, how do you sense the etheric arms if not visualizing them? That's for you to practice, because your intuition, the more you do practices like this and many others, the more you start to become more and more aware of the sensory experience that it's happening. That's how you start shifting into more and more knowing, because you're like, ah, whenever this happens, whenever I do this, I feel this. And if it's overall, it's going to feel good. Overall, when you first do the connection, you might feel lots of things. You might not like this or might not like that. That's why I said in the very beginning, don't judge it. Because when you clear it, though, you're going to feel good. How is everybody feeling right now? How are you feeling? So, Robin, I hope that answers your question. Vicky said, wow, what a subtle yet important difference. Yes. Yes. Claire said, okay, well, let me see. Vicky said soft bubbles in the heart center. Claire said, because you don't feel it. Oh, you were responding to why is the visualization for babies, right? Well, visualizations, I say for babies, because they're interfering in God's work. You don't need to visualize it. You need to allow it. I know it's practice. Okay, Penny said, great, joyful. And Lily said, peaceful and relaxed. Yes, because when you free yourself from any form of fear, you become more peaceful. Absolutely. You become more relaxed. And in a peaceful state, This is how you start to cultivate unshakable peace. That's why I referenced that earlier. In my group, that's what we are. We are building that unshakable peace. And that is part of the maturation of the emotional body, because the field of all these emotions, that is part of the fear-based paradigm and that three-ring circus of the physical world. And believe me, three-ring circus isn't just chronic negativity network, CNN, or, whatever that is. It's also just the drama of the mother-in-law or the best friend with her breakup with her boyfriend, or, the drama of the terrible things happening in the world, or this rule or that rule, or this new law or that new law, or this horrible thing or that horrible thing. I'm not telling you that those things don't need to be addressed. I'm telling you that in order for you to make that change, the magic needs to come through you. So I'm showing you a tool of how you can start allowing more magic to come through you. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. All right, I'm going to go to questions. So what I would love is if you can put the questions in the Q&A, and if you could please put them in there in a way that is that I can read, because Vicky, I do see yours here, but it's so long, it's hard to read it. If you could just edit it and put it in, I'm more than happy to address. So I would love to address your questions. Those you just need to put into the Q&A, okay? So I'm going to go first. Rebecca's asking, talk about the upcoming pole shift. Okay. And you can ask me anything, so I am more than happy to address whatever you put in the Q&A. All right, so the pole shift, let's it's a little outside of the realm of what we've been talking about, but no problem, because I said ask anything. So for people who don't understand, the pole shift is already happening. It's already underway. This is part of why we are seeing big, big earth changes. It's not the only reason. It's also why you're starting to see, which maybe you are, or maybe you're not seeing this, but I am, more and more people becoming more and more conscious in a more accelerated way. I get it. There's something like 8 billion people in the world, and most of them are not becoming more conscious. Most of them are becoming more anxious, more full of fear, more full of anxiety, more fretting, more worrying. They're just trying to figure out how they're going to pay their next, pay their bills. I get that's the masses. But the people who are stepping forward, and you're one of them because you're on this call, we're waking up at a much more accelerated rate. And if you're seeing that happen in the world, because it only requires, this I have through channeling, approximately I'm being corrected, 8 to 11,000 people. That's not even a lot. To reach a state of full enlightenment simultaneously. When I say simultaneously, they don't have to reach it. They have to be in a state of full embodied enlightenment simultaneously, which once you're in full embodiment enlightenment, you really are already there fully, to create what we call a full and complete awakening for the whole of humanity. So it does not require the 8 billion people to wake up. But the pole shift, I do want to tell you about the events coming up, the 2 retreats. The pole shift is the beginning of that happening, that enough people wake up for the 100th monkey effect. And it literally is also a physical moving of the earth and the entire galaxy, our galaxy, which is of the planets that revolve around the sun. We all revolve around the sun with our moon, we Earth. So our galaxy, our planets in this galaxy that revolves around our sun is literally moving in the galaxy, literally. We're not in the same place. And as we move, we're interacting now with more and more other planets that we didn't know about before, other planetary systems, star family races. And as we're interacting with them more and more, they're starting to interact with us in non-physical ways and also even in physical ways. And as we move planetarily, we will eventually go through a period of time that is can be identified as the null zone. I have to do a whole separate conversation on that. But that will be happening over the next approximate, as I understand it, 30 to 35 years. And the job for humanity is to elevate over that window of time out of fear and into unity and love. You only need 8 to 11,000 people to reach a fully enlightened state, so that when we go through that null zone, fear and chaos does not break out. Okay, I could spend hours on this topic. I hope that's helpful. That's an abbreviated. All right, I'm going to go to more of your questions because there's a lot more, but I do want to just take a moment and talk briefly about the retreats that are coming up, because if you would like to join me in really developing more of your mastery, working on these things, making the impact you're here to make, freeing yourself from all forms of fear and lower dense energies, what would that be worth it to you to spend a whole weekend or even a whole week in such a high vibe community? I mean, can you imagine, right? Like being in a group where we get to work on this stuff in a safe, open, camaraderie community container where we are in such high vibe, there's nothing to be afraid of, and where we really are restoring the magic within and really bringing forward the divinity that we are, so that we can make the impact we're here to make and bring forward the magnificence that we are, and really birth that magic and be part of, if you're willing, potentially even part of that 8,000 people. Now that you might not be going for that, but just really living your life, being the best version of you and living your most benevolent, best life. That's really what it's about. So the first one is the Sacred Illumination Retreat. I'm going to put the link for it in the chat. Yeah, just take a few moments to talk about it, and then I'll get to the other questions. And we still have a good, good time, good enough time. I'm going to stay a little longer. I mean, at least another 20 minutes. So I get plenty of questions I can do. But so this illumination retreat, it is Thursday, October 17th to Monday, October 21st. It's in upstate New York, in the Finger Lakes section of upstate New York. And it is going to be just fun and play and social and energy work and healing and what we call downloads and practices and clearing, so that you can liberate yourself from the energies that aren't serving you, and so that you can bring forward more of the divinity that you are. Clear your field. You will learn so much more. It's a very safe, beautiful, joyful, loving container. And the link I just put in there to everyone, so you can take a look at the webpage. I'm not here to specifically sell this, so I'm just inviting you, because right now, and this won't be after our next live call though, right now, if you click on that, and of course it's about the camaraderie, the community, the connection, the fun, the play, but really it's about unifying with your source and really up leveling and being the best version of you. So right now, excuse me, because I haven't really promoted it much or shared much about it, the special rates are still on there. It's like $1,000 difference, and it will likely only be there until Tuesday, because then I'm going to go into full-on promotion of it. But I just wanted to mention it so you can take a look. It's really about real transformation. And yeah, so we meet on Thursday evening. We have a gathering, and we settle in, we get comfortable together. And then Friday is a full day of deep inner work. And when I say inner work, it's energy work, it's meditation, it's healing, it's channeling, it's all of the stuff that you need to really, truly live your most benevolent, best life to align with what you're here for, to clear, heal, and resolve these stuck and block aspects that we're talking about, this energy, right? Then Saturday's a full day, Sunday's a full day, and then Monday it's over. We complete. So, and we're all staying like if there's some space right now still in the place that we've rented. So you can definitely ask me questions about that in the chat if you want to know more. I'll put that, the link is there in the chat bar, right? And then I just also want to briefly mention if those dates don't work for you, or if that's not necessarily the right event for you, or if you're feeling like you, for whatever reason, aren't able to attend, the other one that you can join me for live is the Galactic Origins Cruise. I'll put the link in for that one as well. So the Galactic Origins Cruise is a cruise with many, many speakers. It's going to be amazing. That is a 5-day cruise from Orlando, Florida, down to the Maya Riviera and the Yucatan Peninsula from December 14th to December 21st. And that cruise, I mean, I can basically kind of go over just briefly the itinerary, but for the most part, the link is there. In fact, there's a separate link for the itinerary I can put in there. There's now a couple links, so just make sure you know what you're looking at, right? But that cruise from December 14th, we embark at Port Canaveral, and we have day 2 is a day at sea. Day 3, we're in Costa Maya, Mexico. Day 4, we're in Belize City, Belize. Day 5, we're in Rotan, Honduras. Day 6, we're in Cozumel, New Mexico. And day 7 is a day at sea. And then day 8 is Port Canaveral, and there's an outing that day where we return. So there are incredible speakers. And I'm not here, like, I just want to let you guys know about it because you're here and you might want more if you want more time with me. Those are 2 ways you can join me, but I'll talk about them more specifically on some other upcoming calls. But I just want to bring them to your awareness this week for the Galactic Origins Cruise. The price goes up next week. And that's not up to me. I'm not the host of the cruise. I'm a speaker. And when you register with me, I'm doing all kinds of VIP events with people so that we'll do really deep work like this. But it is fun, social. It's all about your galactic origins. We will definitely talk more about pole shift, what's going on there. The null zone, you will definitely learn more about that and what's going to be happening. And I will be able to spend a lot more time about that. And if you want to know more about your galactic origins, ancient history, stuff that we just haven't learned on Earth, because of course, in the old paradigm, it just wasn't being shared, right? It wasn't being shared or taught. It was being withheld from people because as you start to know these things, you become more empowered and you don't need a false or phony system that's designed to kind of keep you stuck and controlled through fear, right? So I put those links in there. I would love, love, love for you to join me. I will say the early bird rates for the Galactic Origins expires September 3rd. So if you're thinking about it, join us now. And yeah, I have a lot of VIP energy work that I'm doing with people, VIP events that I'm doing with people on the ship. And that is just going to be so much fun. So that's a travel adventure. And yeah, going to be off the charts. Amazing. Make sure you put my name in there so that you get the VIP. Because if you don't put my name in there, you don't get the VIP. And with me, right? You register on that link, Lily. Here, I'll put it in there again because I would love for you to join. Yeah, I just put it in. That's the Galactic. There, by the way, both of these links are on my website. And if you have any questions, you can also go to my website at lauriespagna.com on the contact page, and you can please email, you can email me, you can email my team at support@lauriespagna.com as well, if you have any questions. Yeah, and when you register, they'll ask you who referred you. There's a drop-down menu, and you just want to put Laurie Spagna in there. Make sure you do that because then you get the bonuses. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting comment there. I'm going to go back to the questions about full disclosure. To me, I will explain my my awareness on disclosure. Disclosure is already happening. It's happening more and more, and it's up to us with our free will to choose to know truth. It's up to us with our free will to be willing to explore truth. It's up to us with our free will to choose to put ourselves in circumstances and scenarios such as a galactic cruise, such as the illumination retreat, such as an event like this, where we can start to cultivate our own ability to navigate, to discern, to know truth, and to put ourselves around people where we can explore these things in safe environments. And when I say safe, what I mean is not someone who is constantly fear mongering you, someone who is helping you, supporting you as a fellow comrade, right? It's up to us to choose. So to me, disclosure is here now. It's happening. And the big blocker of full disclosure is because you have a huge percentage of the population who does not want to know truth, who is still stuck in fear, and they don't understand that fear is an unwillingness to know truth. Fear is an unwillingness to experience direct knowing, directing. Fear is an unwillingness to work through what we call shadow aspects. And so if they're unwilling to know, that's why full disclosure has not happened. That is why. Full disclosure cannot happen. This is a tweetable. This is like a moment, right? Full disclosure cannot happen until enough of humanity wants truth. And that will not happen until enough of humanity is no longer living in state of fear. We must all reconcile with our own inner fears, which is our shadow aspects. All right, I hope that's helpful. I hope that makes sense. Thanks, Reba. All right, let me go back to questions. But if you have any questions about the retreats, the Sacred Illumination Retreat or the Galactic Origins, please put that in the webinar chat, right? I can address that. And I want to come back to your questions. And you guys, thank you so much for playing with me today. Have you guys found this helpful? Has this been helpful to you? Have you benefited from this? Can you put that in the chat like a yes, thumbs up? And if you have, one thing I would really, really love is I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel. It might take a few days to get there. But please, please, whenever you're on the YouTube or if you're on the podcast, please share. Sharing is caring. Sharing and commenting really helps get this out there, and it helps people to realize this stuff. If we want full disclosure, if we want to know how to navigate the null zone, if we want to understand how to heal our physical, emotional, mental wounding patterns, once you understand something as basic as like it's all energy and it can be expunged, it can be cleared. Like this is power. To me, this is very powerful teaching, but it can't get out there without you helping and sharing. Sharing is caring. So please, when you do see it and when you see it on Facebook or if you hear stuff on the podcast, for those of you who have listened to the podcast, my podcast, which I love doing, it's called The Awakened Elevated Human. If you haven't heard that, I'll put the link in for that as well. As of course, I would love, love, love for you to share that so that that can get out there more. And then I'm going to go back to this next question. I promise, back to your questions. But I just put the Awakened Elevated Human in there. It's on both YouTube but it launches faster on Apple, right? I just put the link there. It launches faster on the podcasts, and then it's a little bit slowed by a couple of weeks on the YouTube. So, but sharing is caring. Okay. All right, so let's go back to your questions now. And thanks for all of your amazing questions here. I love questions. All right. So Penny said fear creates doubt. Yes, absolutely, Penny. And doubt comes from fear too. Both. It's like both ways. Totally right. So Lily asked, how can I overcome the dark nights of the personality or soul? Any advice is appreciated. Okay. Yeah. First, my heart goes out to you, Lily, because dark nights of the soul are really challenging, really hard. The most important thing, in my opinion, since you asked, of overcoming dark night of the soul is to put yourself in a coaching container and environment, not just a group, with someone who is a mentor to you. The hardest part about a dark night of the soul, and by definition, to me, what a dark night of the soul is that the soul is traversing. Oh my, did you guys hear that? Massive thunder. I did ask for rain today. That's so interesting. I created that, but it's a very rainy time in Florida anyway. But okay, sorry. I don't know if you saw me jump like that. It was so loud, the thunder. Like, woo. Okay, so dark night of the soul is when the soul is traversing the density that it needs to clear, which that tool will be a helpful tool for you, Lily. But there's so much density, they can't find their way out. And because of where you're vibrating, when they're going through a dark night of the soul, they're vibratory, they're trapped in what I call a frequency fence. That vibrational bandwidth there, it's so dark, they're stuck, right? They're really stuck in their own darkness, in their own shadow. A peer will only be someone who's at that frequency bandwidth too. And so what they'll do is add more darkness and shadow. You need a really good mentor, a healer who is completely understand that their role is to be of service to you during this challenging time, and that they're not going to judge you or think that that shadow stuff is the limitation of who you are. It is not the truth of who you are, and it is not a limitation. It is that you are meant to break through that and clear all that stuff. But most people can't see that. You need a very high level mentor. There is a huge difference. And let me just make a little more clarity about this. There is a huge difference between a coach and a mentor who shows up as a Q&A person. Like, I'm in a high level program. I've been in a high level program for a year and a half. I even renewed with a new coach, new mentor. Listen, I know the difference. There is a huge difference between a coach who calls themselves a coach or a mentor, who shows up with a smile on their face and answers questions, versus a coach or a mentor who is in there with you. I am a coach or a mentor who gets in there with my people. I know what's going on in their lives. I know their birthday. I know their astrology. I know their nameology. I know what they're challenged by. I know who their boyfriends are, their partners, their love interests, their family members, their animal companions. I know their stories. I know what they're working on. That is high level, next level mentorship combined with channeling specifically and directly for them. Answers that not just question call at the question call. Regular coaches who just show up with a smile on their face and answer questions, that's not a coach for you, Lily. They can't help you through that. They can't see past your shadow. They don't know the brilliance of who you are and what you're working through. You need a high level mentorship coach. And that is not easy to find on this planet. I will tell you that I am one of them. I know what's out there. I'm in programs. My coaches who coach me, just 'cause I don't need them to be what I need, because I have such a great connection to my own team. But my coaches, they show up with a smile. They don't know anything about me. They answer questions. That's it. That's not what you need. You need to get yourself around someone who can really help you. I hope that's helpful, Lily. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to, since Vicky, you put in a question first. I just want to see if I can get you, because I'm going to get as many as I can. So Vicky asked, can you expand on ways to protect against the active use of non-corporeal entities? Yeah, and dark magic, where the practitioners actively create cords and portals into one's field and sends these without a person's consent. Yeah. Okay, first of all, if you're working with a practitioner who does that, stop working with them, because they haven't learned. Okay, let me rephrase that, because maybe that's not the best advice for you. I'm going to ask. No. Okay, listen, this is good stuff, Vicky. This is a really good question. There are really five groups of people in the world right now under this umbrella that I'm about to share. The first is people who serve the dark. Now, people who truly serve the dark, when you're around them, you will feel some degree of fear or anxiety. They are on your TV screen every night, and they are some of the most famous world leaders. They actively engage in creating fear and drama. They actively and secretly and covertly use all kinds of tools of manipulation. They are often highly charismatic and they draw you in. They create drama and upset and worry. They create division. They play a game called divide and conquer. They divide you and conquer you. And they're not just on your TV, I promise. And they create a game, they play a game called defend and attack. They will attempt to usurp your power, and they will attempt to manipulate, control, and dominate you. Those are people who serve the dark. They might not even know that they do that, but that is what the dark is. Okay. Those are, yes, like a murderer is in that category because they're taking away someone's life. That person didn't say, hey, take my life, right? A rapist could be, yes, certainly, absolutely, in that category, because a person who's being raped is not saying, hey, rape me. That's by definition, okay? Those are people who serve the dark. They're taking away free will consent, free will choice, and they are using fear. Okay. Now, you got your second category, Vicky. Your second category is people who serve themselves. They serve their ego. There are so many healers, astrologers, tarot card readers. There's the vast majority of humanity, business owners, anyone selling anything, not everyone selling anything, not everyone, but the vast majority of humans, famous authors who tell you to be in the now. I mean, famous people calling themselves new thought leaders, people channeling someone who they say they're channeling, who they're not, even very famous ones, they're serving themselves. They have their own agenda. Nothing wrong with that. That's life on earth. You got to pay your bills. Now you have another group that is serving the greater good. Okay. This is the shift. This is part of the shift that's happening. That's awesome. You got a group, a lot of new thought leaders in there, a lot of channelers, a lot of healers, a lot of astrologers, animal communicators, energy workers. I mean, business coaches, entrepreneurial coaches, marketing. There's a lot of people serving the greater good. That's awesome. We need more. Most of us are in there. Then you got a very small group who are serving the light. That is a very small group. I consider myself to be in that group. Very small group. That small group is almost always what we're doing to the best of our ability is following the guidance that we're being given, and to the best of our ability, listening, honoring, paying attention to what we're meant to do, what our role is in God's plan. And it's not about a private or secret or covert agenda, for the most part, to the best of our ability, because we're human and we still have bills to pay and we still have things to do, but we're doing the best we can. Now, the last group I'm not going to talk about too much, but that's the people in the world who serve the balance. And those people are playing both games, but they understand on a very conscious level, they're working to keep things in balance. And that's kind of status quo. That's the status quo on Earth. And status quo is what makes humans feel stability. Now, this is a very lengthy answer to your question, Vicky, but this is how you can see. This is what I'm not like a short-winded person, right? I get in there with you. When you say, how can you protect against the active use of non-corporeal entities through dark magic, where practitioners actively engage in cords? Okay, you were referring to non-corporeal entities, and I was referring to people. I think I missed that, so I apologize. But it's the same either way. You must own your sovereign right, your sovereign free will. Now, I'll elaborate on this for you, Vicky. Whether they're corporeal or non-corporeal is irrelevant. You must understand the power of your sovereign free will. By the way, I have a whole course on this inside of the sacred membership, and of course, it's inside of the sacred visionary mentorship as well. I think I can put a link to the sacred membership in there for you, because that's an annual membership that is so low priced and affordable. And what's in there is off the freaking charts fabulous. I don't know if I have access, if I can find the link really easily. In the process of redoing a lot of tech stuff on the back end of my business. Here, I found it. But you might want to consider getting that. I'm putting it in the chat for the sacred membership. So that's an annual membership with all of like so many online teachings. And there's a whole clearing entities, demonics. It's a really good mini class. It's about an hour. It's really powerful, and it comes with a PDF. It's very, very powerful, but you have to know how to own your sovereignty, and you have to know how to clear those things, cut cords. So owning your sovereignty is that you literally continue to affirm, I claim my sovereignty and dominion over my body, my mind, my emotions. No one and nothing is allowed to interact with me. That's not the right words. To be in my energy field. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. I can't say go. It takes me an hour to teach it, but you have to know how to claim your sovereignty. You also have to know how to clear and cut cords. I teach that in all my stuff. You have to know how to clear and cut cords. Your sovereignty is about you saying, I disallow that. I'm not allowing anyone to cord or connect to me without my free will conscious consent. That's really what you're saying. And people cord and connect to you all the time. And a lot of practitioners cord and connect to you because you're saying dark magic. That's why I went to the physical. People do it when they want something from you. They want you to pay them money. They want you to do this or that or whatever. So you have to know, you have to develop your knowledge on how to do that. That's why I would recommend to you that sacred membership class. It's got not just that class, so much more in there. And then you had a second part. Why does the soul leave the body? Why does the soul leave the body? Does that mean, do you mean by physical death? Or do you mean because the soul is checking out? What do you mean by that, Vicky? All right, I'll come back to that, and I'm gonna go to the next question. I want to see, is this making sense? Did I go too far out there for you guys? Or can you put in the chat if this is making sense for you? In the webinar chat, thumbs up. Okay, good. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. I'm getting yeses. All right. So next question was, what do I do when jealousy arises in me? What is the spiritual task? Even though it feels low vibe in certain moments, not often, it does arise. Then it's impinged with shame. Yes. Okay. I love that question. First, jealousy is energy. So you want to remove the energy of jealousy, and you want to remove the energy of shame. You did a practice today that will help you to learn that. The energy of jealousy and shame are not true or organic or original to you. They're not authentically you. They're not who you are. You're just feeling those energies and you're owning them, thinking that they're yours. So recognize that they're energy. We spent a good portion of today working on that. And then the other piece, and then I'm going to start to wrap up soon because now I'm at an hour and a half and I wanted to keep it to an hour and a half, but I tend to go over. The other part is that you need to replace it with new mindsets. Not just new mindset, but new emotions, right? If a person has something or has achieved something that you want, they're in your field showing you what's possible. So start to look upon them with gratitude because they're showing you what's possible. The energy of jealousy, the energy of shame is trauma from not achieving what you're here to achieve, not fulfilling your highest purpose, not being the most authentic expression of yourself, not being the best version of yourself. So those are the energies that need to be cleared, healed, and resolved and removed. But what needs to be replaced is the knowing that that's what you want to create. And that as you step into more of your power, you will create that. And that person is simply a place marker in your field to show you what's possible for you. So start to look upon that person or that thing, whatever it is, that's showing you the energy, bringing out the energy of jealousy and shame. Recognize it's not the truth of who you are. It's not. And be grateful to that person for revealing to you what's possible. It would not be in your field if it wasn't possible for you. It wouldn't be showing up for you if it wasn't possible. And as you express gratitude, the energy of gratitude clears the way. Gratitude's energy clears the way for more of what you want. So be grateful that that person is demonstrating what's possible, and be honoring and respectful of that person, because I can guarantee you, I'm assuming it's a person. Yeah, you didn't necessarily say it was a person, but I'm assuming it could be just about a car or something. Someone else's car, whatever it is. Um, just be honoring and respectful, because whatever it is, it showed up in your field. Chances are, if it is a person or an experience, someone having a vacation, or if it's not linked to a person, I don't know, but be grateful and be honoring, because things in this reality are not achieved. They're not achieved just by, there are things that can manifest out of thin air. That is part of magic. It can happen, but it's not the norm in this reality. This reality is about learning to work with the physical and the non-physical, to bring them together. And that's not always easily accomplished. Certainly not. In this reality, things are not as easy as the Leave It to Beaver, love and light community, Instagram popularity would like you to believe. It is not that easy. So be honoring. And as you bring forward that energy, it will create something new for you. I hope that's helpful to you. Your name is anonymous, so I'm not sure if, I hope so. Okay, I'm going to go to one or two more, and then I'll start to wrap. Okay, Elena, I see the question about your sister. But for your sister, I think we did talk about anxiety, the energy. I think I've addressed that. So hopefully, you can relay that. And since she's not here, I think I covered that. So hopefully you feel like that was addressed. Okay, so Vicky, if you're at the end of voodoo dark magic repeatedly, one thing you need to do is you need to reclaim your right to be in the light. And you need to remove yourself from the people, places, situations, and circumstances that you're engaging that are creating that. And I don't know enough about you. I don't know that I know you, that are bringing that energy into you, into your field, right? So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a parallel example, but substitute the word voodoo for politics, political. Now, let's just say you're on Facebook and everybody's talking about political stuff. One says this thing, one says that thing, one says, and you feel entangled. And you know that those political people, voodoo, whatever, are literally trying to draw you in. Some of them are your friends, or maybe your colleagues, or maybe they're practitioners, and they're trying to put a spell on you to get you to vote for them or believe what they believe. Or maybe they're actually your friends asking you, how could you believe this? How can you believe this? Or how could you vote for that one? Or how could you like that one? How could you believe what he says or she says? And every time they're trying to engage, there's a part of you that wants to go, I want to respond. I want to respond. Okay, this is you. You have to say no. Delete, delete, delete. I love you. I bless you. Good luck to you with what's important to you, but I have no further business with you. You need to start removing those people, places, situations, and circumstances from your life, Vicky, by blessing them and deleting them. If you don't want to play in the game of voodoo, remove yourself from all those entanglements and start reclaiming your sovereign right to play in the light. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Okay, I'll do one more and then I'm going to wrap for the day. Maybe one or two more, depending on what I get here. I see 11s, 40. This is from Robin. I see 11s, 44s, 22s, and strings of sevens, and then I'll do RD. and consecutive numbers all the time. All I can find out is that it's angels watching out, but more specific, the angel explanations. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those areas. I've taught this in my sacred numerology class, which is also that's also in the sacred membership, the numerology class, which you would love. So the angels and other benevolent beings, first of all, they're working with synchronicity, law of synchronicity, which we talked about at the beginning of our call. And they're just helping you to become more conscious, right? So they're showing you these double numbers and triple numbers to help you wake up to consciousness. But all numbers, we could go. Oh, sorry, I just had to clear some energy there. All numbers have meaning. So, for example, 11 is mastery. My numbers in numerology are 11, 11, 11. That's not my birthday. Those are my numbers, numerology. All numbers have meaning. The way you can find out about the meaning is by understanding the numerology, the sacred meaning behind numbers. That's to me what numerology is, and that's what I teach in my sacred numerology class, which that full class is in the sacred membership, Robin. You would do well with it. You would do really well with that. It's a good place to start. But 11s are all about mastery. Double numbers are always about mastery. And they're always about some kind of leveling up. 4 tends to do with foundation and stability, renewal and rebirth. And 22 has to do with, it's also mastery, but it's about master building. And master building is your relationship, right relationship. What is two? You and another. What is the other? Anything and everything in your world. Yourself, your source, your God, the all that is, the field, your body, your money, your computer, your car, your house, your pencil, your pen, whatever. That is 22, right relationship. 7s are about peace, harmony, and diplomacy and divine truth. 7s ask you to not spiritually bypass, which sometimes people want to do that. I hope that's helpful, Robin. I would go to the sacred numerology class, which I'll put that in the chat one more time. It's in there somewhere, but it's probably lost. The sacred membership class has that in there, which you can get that. And if you have questions, you can email us, support@Lori Spagna. All right, I'll do one last question and then I'm going to wrap because we're over time. Reba's asking, what does full and complete embodiment actually mean? Because some days are great energetically and some days aren't. I love that, Reba. That's awesome. So, and I was going to do RDs. Okay, I'll do both of yours. Sorry, I'm going long. Yeah, I mean, full embodiment is it's a hard thing to describe physically with words because it's something you have to experience. And I don't even know that I have full embodiment. I don't know that I do. In fact, I'm sure that I don't. I know that I'm not too far from it. I'm not too far. But embodiment is where you're in the ecstatic union with your source. And you're identifying as part of the body, as the body is part of you, but not the whole of you. You are within the body, but you are more than the body. And that the energy of the divine source is being channeled from my team. They're just stepping in on this. The energy of your divine source, your connection with the infinite, all that is, the infinite consciousness that you are, is representing so fully, wholly, and completely in every fascia, in every cell, in every proton, in every neutron, in every subatomic particle, in all energetic spaces within the body, that the body is so fully, wholly, and completely elated with the light and consciousness of the source itself. But you as a human identification knows that you are so much more than the body. You are not limited to the body. You exist far beyond the body. And you are more fully, wholly unified with the whole of you that is more than the body, greater than the body. That is the light that you are, the aspect of source where you are more of it than it is. It is no longer separate from you, not at all. not in any way, other than that there is even more of it, that it continues to expand, that it is all always there, all the time, never not there. You are at one with it, knowing that you can continue to expand into more of it. But as you keep form, you are embodied in the sense that you keep form. There is no limitation to how embodied one could be. There is only a limitation to how much the body could embody, how much of the light, of the source, of the consciousness, how much the body could actually embody. You see, full embodiment means you are far beyond the body. There's a pause there. Hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. It's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. It's pretty cool. I feel like there's more there. Okay, one last, and then I'm going to wrap. Okay, this is RD's question. I recently found it might be a second wave of volunteers described by Dolores Cannon. I understand now why my loneliness since ever. Okay, the second wave of volunteers has woke up way prior to 2020. Sorry, the second wave woke up, yes, in the years from 2012. Hold on, let me just reconnect with this knowing, because it's not in my memory bank, but it's in my knowing. You have pre-seeders. Pre-seeders woke up in the 60s. Pre-seeders. These are many of your new thought leaders who have written books. They learned through the brain, but not through the body. They are quite well known and famous, published authors for the most part, new thought thinkers, new thought leaders, pre-seeders. The original 144,000, which were your first wave, were all online prior to 2011. And in the year between 2011 and 2012, were brought into more of their conscious awareness as first wavers, the term you call first wavers, the original 144. The pre-seeders were not truly part of the original 144, although there are in some cases, some who were. We could run through this list, but it is not necessary. Those which you refer to as second wavers are those who began awakening, coming into more light in the years following 2012 of your linear time, and were primarily online in the year following 2020 and 2020, within the years of 2020 and 2021. These are what are identified as your second wavers. They are still coming into more fruition. They are birthing, many of them are birthing entrepreneurial and solopreneurial types of businesses or not-for-profit organizations. They are interacting in everyday world. Many of them work in workplaces, everyday workplaces, bringing more consciousness into the mainstream. Those which are identified as third wavers are everyone who is beginning to wake up now and will continue to wake up and share in the world on everyday, in everyday ways, in everyday reality. Okay, I hope that answers that question. And you had a second part of that question. How do I amend my mission and contract to leave this physical plane? I've been trying for a long time. Okay, what does that mean to leave this physical plane to you, RD? Leave the body or leave the frequency bandwidth where you're at? If you're talking about leaving the frequency bandwidth, that's awesome, right? That's energy work. If you want to leave the body, are you talking about having an OBE? Because if you're talking about having a physical death, that's not something I'm going to support you in. Like, I'm not here for that. You're here for a reason. You're meant to be here. And if you're wanting to leave the body as in a physical death, that sounds to me like a willed suicide type of thing. That is not something I would ever support someone in, nor is that my role to support you, because you're here for a reason. And if that's what it is, then I would support you in getting real healing, because it means you're carrying deep trauma. The only people who want to leave the physical body, whether it's overt or whether they're aware of it, it's because there's trauma there and they need love. They need, and if that's you, I'm sorry if I'm in my brain right now. I want to give you my love. I want you to know that you are loved and that you matter and that you're important and that you're valuable and you have a reason for being here. And I want you to get the healing that you need. So please get yourself healing if it's the body, because you said that. If it's an OBE, which is a different kind of experience, that's exploring the non-physical. That's something that you can learn too. And that I can help you with, but not here right now because we don't have time and we're at the end. So either way, RD, and I don't know who you are, but I think your name is Ruth. Please, please, if it is that you're not physically happy here in your physical body, I want you to please, please, please get yourself somebody. Go to an Al-Anon meeting, a 12-step meeting. They're free. Go anywhere where there is community, a grief support group, a Reiki circle, an energy healing support group, any kind of practitioner, counselor to help you, to give you the support that you need. Because if that is what I'm hearing, and I'm not sure, I'm not like psychically, you said kind of different things, because it sounds like you're a volunteer here and you want to do light work. Clear, heal, and resolve the, one thing you can do is clear, heal, and resolve the exit stage left program. Well, which I can do a little bit of that even right now for you. But of course, your free will has to consent, and I'm not asking, but I didn't ask, but you need to get yourself with somebody who can tell you how loved you are and where you can do energy healing to clear all death and suicide programs, if that's what it is. And that can be done. And you need at least an hour with a good healer to make some good headway for you on that. You can email me, but get yourself a 12-step program, a counselor, a grief support group, if that's what it is. Because changing your contract, this idea that you can change your contract, I went through all that. I'm telling you, I went through that during my dark night of the soul. I wanted to get out of here so bad. A lot of light workers do. And that's not how it works. You're here to transcend the energy of the pain and suffering that you're going through. So get yourself the support, because you matter. Because your work to transcend and transmute that pain and suffering is what you're here for. So you can't just change your contract to leave. No, you're here to change the energy. And any attempt to leave the body, not talking astral travel here, I'm talking about a willed death, before it's truly rightly your time to go, will just create more pain and suffering for you. And I'm not talking about someone's physically sick, physically ill, and they want to have a free will choice to die. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about before you're really meant to go. I just want you to be with me for one moment, and I'm just going to do a little work that I'm allowed to do for you, Ruth. And I just want you to breathe and relax for a little bit. Okay, go. Okay, go. You are the love that you just don't know that you are. And there is something so much better possible for you, where you can be fulfilled and happy, where you can enjoy life and your body, Ruth. It is available to you. It just shifted your energy a little bit. It feels a lot better. You need to get yourself in healing circles and get yourself the support you need. And I don't know who you are or where you live, but you're welcome to contact me. And if you want to do a private session with me or a private work with me, or come into my container or come to the sacred illumination retreat, that will help you a lot. Or please just get yourself the help you need, okay? Because you're not meant to leave, and you're a lovable person and you're a valuable person. And it's only the energy of the pain that's meant to leave you. That is energy. That's not the truth of who you are. All right, all of you, I hope this has been helpful to you. I wish I could get to more questions. I have another one coming up next Tuesday. And that will be on Tuesday. I think it's a slightly different time, 3 p.m. Eastern. So please join me again. And as long as you're subscribed at lauriespagna.com, you'll get the call access information. And please, please invite others. Please invite others. That's why I do gifted. By the way, if you're in the Jupiter, Florida area, Friday tomorrow, I am at Unity Church of Juno and Jupiter, another gifted event, not as much talking and coaching, deep energy work, transformational energy work. Please join me there live if you're able to. So 3 opportunities to awaken more magic within you this week. And I hope that you will join me, and please share the video when you see it live on YouTube. I would love to hear more from you as well. So you can always head over to Facebook and comment there, ask questions there. Let me know how you're doing. I do my best to comment in public spaces, to respond to you on the Facebook pages and also on the YouTube. I'm getting more and more involved there too. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to sign off for now and say thank you so, so much for being here and for participating and playing and connecting and sharing. And I'm sending you so much love. All right, farewell for now. Bye-bye.